Welcome to our podcast, Happy Household. We appreciate you listening in. Ben and I started this podcast to share some insights on what we have found successful and maybe what wasn't so successful. Our hope is that we can help each of you in some small way while getting to spend some quality time together. We feel the key to a successful relationship is trust and communication. Whether it be with friends, family, or significant others, open communication builds trust and creates a home that can become a happy household.
Well, hello, sweet pea.
Hello.
Well, hello. Didn't watch that movie once or twice, did I?
Yeah, neither one of us did. I loved Robin Williams. He was such a great actor.
Yes, wonderful. He was the king of comedy as far as I was concerned.
Yeah. A lot of people grew up on him. Anyway.
Yep. So, we have something new today, right, don't we?
Yes. Hi, listeners. Let's say hi to them first. Hope you guys are
Hello.
having a beautiful day. Whether
Yeah.
it's raining, not raining, sunshiny, not sunshiny. We hope you're having a very, very wonderful, blessed day. And we're going to try something new today. So we're very excited to share with you guys because we saw this. Backstory. We took my daughters to Barnes & Nobles. They had never been in a Barnes & Nobles in their lives. I know, bad mom. Come at me if you want to. But we took my kids to Barnes & Nobles and they love to read. So when they walked in, their eyes just got like saucers. Like, I didn't know there was so many books in one place in my life outside of a library.
And our Barnes Noble is not very big. I mean,
Yeah, it's only two floors.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other cities that have Barnes Noble that are twice the size of ours.
Mm-hmm.
But at that, it was still it was like kids in a candy store.
They were so over the moon happy, and it brightened my day that they were so happy to be in a Barnes and Nobles. I love that my kids love to read, and so anything to encourage them to read and not be on any electronic device, I'm game for. So it's one of those things that we try to instill in the kids is really reading and getting involved in that imaginary piece
Yep.
of that they. So as they were searching their, teeny bopper, like novels and their dramas and their love stories and all that stuff. Okay.
Don't make me laugh. I sound terrible. I start coughing and hacking.
First of all, don't come at romance novels, okay? There are specific ones that get like really graphic that they're too young for, but they love to read and whatever genre they're into, whatever, go for it. But anyway, in the whole grand scheme of them like looking in their little sections, Ben and I decided we were going to look around to see if there was any like relationship books for us to kind of hop on the bandwagon with, because we actually went in specifically looking for what I feel is like an extremely amazing book. It's Captivating by John and Stacey Eldridge and Wild at Heart by John Eldridge. I love those books. I love John and Stacey Eldridge. I think the world of them. I think they're amazing. But they ended up not having it. So we were like, well, let's just look and see if there's anything else for relationships. So we're going around the store. We happen upon a book called 101 Quizzes for Couples by Natasha Burton. And so it's just a book of quizzes you can ask your partner and kind of get to know them in a new, deeper, different kind of way. Some of the questions, obviously, if you've been with somebody for a long time, you already may know the answers to, but it's good to ask and to reconnect in that way. So we're going to actually do the first quiz in the book.
Yeah, and some of your answers you might think you know, but it might surprise you.
It might their memory may be a little bit different at this point than it was when you first started dating.
I know my memory is way worse.
But we're going to be doing the first quiz, which is literally called Your Firsts. So, we're going to jump right in. All right, honey.
Oh boy.
When, where, and with whom was your first kiss?
And this is where my memory goes. I do not remember
She was that memorable, huh?
No, it was just that long ago.
Do you remember our first kiss?
Yes, I do.
Good boy.
Well, at least you didn't quiz me on it, so I could have been lying there.
I want details.
You want details? Our first kiss was at night. It was cold. Well, it wasn't really super cold, but it was in the garage, and it was here. It was with you.
It was. I love a man's version of telling a story versus the women's, because my version of my first kiss was with my first boyfriend. His name was Chris. I'm not going to shout out his last name, but you know who you are. Great guy. But he was actually my older brother's best friend at the time. And we all got along really well. So we're like, we'll try dating. And he kissed me and I felt nothing. And so I was like, this isn't really going to work for me. Like, I love you as a person, but we're just not right for each other. I knew from the moment that he kissed me that it just wasn't going to go anywhere. So I didn't really want to waste his time or mine. So I broke it off with him. I know I'm a horrible person, but like he's married to an amazing woman. They got a bunch of little kitties running around. He's so happy, and I'm so happy for him.
The infamous "let's be friends."
Yeah, but the funny thing is, we actually did remain friends for a long time. But then our lives just grew in different directions, and we went in different directions, and things like that.
Yeah. So as for me, I can't remember. I couldn't remember the first, and I sure is not going to remember where. I know there was a few, but I have no recollection.
And I mean, men remember things differently than women do. So back to like our first kiss, I think it was funny. Like, it's in the garage, and it was night, and it was here. To me, it was like there was a running joke. I have this thing for like very manly garages. So when I first started dating Ben, I was like, he was very, I think, surprised, and you can speak to this, honey. You were very surprised that I was like really into like, you're fixing cars. That's hot. Like that's manly.
And then I lost my fingers, and now I can't do nothing.
No, that's not true.
I didn't actually lose my fingers. I mean,
the use of like
the
little bolts and stuff like that, arthritis from working in a factory all his life. But his garage was like
messy as hell.
No, it was. To you, probably yes, but like it had cabinets and it had car parts and it had a nice car, and it was just one of those things where I was like, it wasn't a superficial thing. It was just like, he knows how to fix things. To me, that was like, it speaks to the part of me that's like, I want a man who can help me fix things, teach me things. I don't want to be like helpless and not be able to fix anything, but like I know he can do it. But anyway, we had a long running joke that I loved his garage, and so he made it a point to, we came home from a date one time. We came back to his house because that was where my car was, and we went inside. We were going to say goodbye, and it was a running joke that he was going to lock me in the garage and kiss me. And I'm like, oh, no, you won't. No, you won't. So I ran into the house, except he had literally locked all of the doors, so I could not get in the house. So my final door was the garage door. I was like, he never locks that door. It's like a safety thing for him. He has to be able to get in case he leaves his keys somewhere. And the little poo head locked the garage door, and he pinned me against the garage door. And that's where our first kiss was. I don't remember if it was night, day. All I remember is it was in the garage, and man, it was steamy. Woohoo! Anyway, second question is, who did you have your first crush on?
Well, according to me or according to my mom?
According to the one you remember.
That would have to be Beth, and that would have been when I was, I don't know, kindergarten.
Dang, started young, did we?
Yeah, it was one of those things that that would be the first one that I would remember.
Beth, okay. Beth? Yeah, I'm sure it's like little kids. We had crushes. I don't remember them, but I can definitely speak to the one that I remember. That was Derek. I had a major crush on Derek when I moved up here, and I saw him the first day we walked into that church. I was like, boy, howdy. Yeah, I had a crush on him for a really long time. Really long time. I was really close with so his parents were our youth group leader, and really nice family, and used to go to their house and have dinner when my mom was working late and stuff. So shout outs to his parents. They are amazing human beings. But yeah, I had a massive crush on him.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was my first one that I really remember impacting me from a standpoint of, hey, I notice boys now.
Okay.
All right. Next question. What was the first thing in life that broke your heart?
A woman.
Wow. Any specific woman? Like,
I mean, there was a lot of things that broke my fall, but
oh, jeez.
I don't. I would have to. I'm just kind of speculating here. When you say the first time your heart's been broken, it could have been a lost toy. I mean, I don't really remember. The first one I would remember would probably have been my first girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything like childhood or anything like that that really broke your heart. You didn't get the dirt bike you wanted or the truck.
No, I never got the dirt bike I wanted. I mean, maybe the family pet dying, but I would have been so young, I probably wouldn't have had much effect on me.
Mine's gonna be a lot more morbid than that. I'm gonna say my dad.
Yeah.
My dad was my first heartbreak. As a daughter, you want to feel loved and wanted and cherished, and it just didn't come. So I think that was my first real heartbreak.
And the sad part is it was his loss.
I mean, yeah, he's long passed since, and I don't want to speak ill of him in any way. He had his own battles he had to fight, but yeah, I think that would be my first soul crushing heartbreak. I think was that. But I had, shout out to Granddaddy and Grandma and Mom and Uncle Mark and brothers and everybody who
pulled the extra weight.
Especially my mom.
Right.
Man, I know a lot. Everybody can say about their moms. Not everybody, but most people can say about their moms they're amazing. But I'm pretty partial to my own, and I wouldn't trade her for anything. I was pretty lucky.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, that would I say. Yeah. Okay, next subject because that's sad. What was your first memory?
Memory. My first memory was.
Yeah, what was your first memory?
My first memory was waking up this morning saying, "I don't want to get up."
Okay, I know your brain is like going into old timers, but come on now, like you're not old.
No, I'll tell that to my body. So you want a very first?
No, I'll tell that to your quad that made you that way.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. You want a first memory?
That's what I asked for. Yes.
Golly, that's a toughie. Let me think about it. You go.
Oh, how fair is that?
Well, because I gotta dig through a lot of cobwebs to figure out what I.
All right, so you want me to go first? Okay.
Sure.
Well, my first memory. That's tapping into the old vault there. I think my first memory, that I can like place myself in. My mom used to do mental health days when. From school. She'd keep us home from school so we could get some time with her. She was a stay-at-home mom at the time, so we got a lot of time with her, but there were days where we were not mentally, or she was not mentally ready to just go to school or take us to school. So she used to give us, it was rare. It was very, very rare. But she would call them mental health days, and we had to make sure before Dad got home, he was very he had to see the vacuum track. So we would help Mom get everything situated for when Dad got home. But I remember those days, and I remember sitting and watching TV and helping, playing outside and watching Mom cook and bake cakes. And so I think the first memory that I have is my mental health days with my mama.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would have to say, after digging through some cobwebs, and I don't know which one actually happened first, but I know they were fairly similar around the same time. Mm-hmm. And that would be, I remember falling off of an 8-foot ladder. My dad was putting an addition on his barn, and he'd put the dirt down, the sand down for the base, and his 830 case tractor was sitting out there, and there was also the ladder was sitting up there too. But
Okay, for the people who don't know what an 830 case tractor is, can you kind of like it's a tractor, obviously, but
yeah, it's a case, and the model number was 830. So it was a wide front end. I couldn't tell you what year it is, but it was an older one, obviously. There's two memories there that kind of blend together, and I'm not sure which one actually happened first. I remember climbing the ladder. Dad was out there looking at the foundation or whatever, and I was out following him around. And I climbed the ladder, and I got about 7 feet off the ground, and then it was on soft sand, so the ladder tipped over. So when I fell off the ladder, I actually broke my arm. And I can't remember, the other one that kind of blends with that is the exact same location, but I was walking around the front of the tractor, and it had a wide front end on it, so the front tires were as wide as the back tires. But that particular model, you could adjust the front tires width, so there was the front of it, the front axle had holes in it, and you could slide the tires in and out, and you could move the bolts over to get the right width. It was so you could go in between rows of crops and stuff. So I was walking around in front of the tractor. I happened to stick my finger in the hole. Just, I don't know why. It was there. So, boop. And there was a wasp's nest inside there.
Oh,
and I got zapped by like two or three. I got zapped by two or three of them right there on my hand.
So you fell off the ladder and then you poked a hole with wasps in it. You had a great childhood there, sweetheart. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, it was an entire blast. But they're not. They were close.
Was a sting above the rest.
Yeah. Those both left a little sting. Those both were very close at the same time.
It was buzzing.
Yeah, I just don't remember which one actually happened first. But I would say they were both during the same summer. I'm thinking that the sting happened first because I would have had a cast on my arm the rest of the summer, and I don't remember having a cast when I stuck my finger in the hole.
Yeah, so you fell off the ladder first, too.
So I would have got stung by
many things, honey, so many things that make you uniquely perfect.
Okay.
Well, perfect in any way anybody can be. Not truly perfect, but perfect for me. All right, next question. And I can go first this time. What was your first pet? I loved this dog. He was a yellow lab. His name was Harry. And he was amazing. And I loved him.
Was he furry or was he hairy?
Yeah. It's a yellow lab. What do you think?
He was furry.
No.
Yeah, because dogs don't have hair. Well, most dogs don't have hair. They have fur.
Okay, Mr. Technical. What was your first pet?
Phoebe. She was a black and tan Doberman Pinscher.
I was going to say, you had the girl from Friends? That's so cool.
Yeah,
but that's mean.
When I was older, I probably wish I had her for a pet.
Hey! I'll cut some. Don't put that in there. Okay. What's the first word you said? I don't know.
That sounds like a mom question if you ask me.
Hang on. Let me call Mom. Mom. I don't know. I think mine was Dada. But I don't know.
I don't know either.
I wasn't comprehending anything at that point. The first word I remember saying is, let me play, because the boys would always play together, and I got left out. So
I could tell you what my first word was.
What?
It was my first word was in the movie theater in September, and it was damn.
What?
That was
Oh, honey, we're gonna do that question over. Really?
For a little backstory, and it took a minute for it to sink in. But our first date was in the movie theater, and I was inside, and she come in.
Backstory on that one. So when we had been talking on the phone, and our conversations were like hour-long conversations, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning.
Hours,
yeah. And when we first met, we went to the movie, and we saw the movie The Invitation. And one of the things the movie says is, don't trust a man with a goatee.
Guess who had a goatee?
So I look at him, I'm like, well, wait, is this like a sign? What's happening? And it's been a running joke ever since that that's don't trust a man with a goatee. Needless to say now, everybody, he's got a beard.
And I hate it.
Oh man.
I'm just too lazy to shave, that's all.
Yeah. All right. So next question. Who was your first friend?
My first friend?
Who was your first friend?
As in friend? Oh, probably myself. No.
That could be taken a lot of different ways, honey.
Well, you know.
Like your first childhood friend. Like, who was your first friend?
That would have been Josh. That would have been the next door neighbor. And are 5 years younger than myself. And my mom used to babysit him while his mom was at work. So he was my first friend.
I'd have to say probably my brothers were my first friend. Because we always played together and did stupid stuff. And
right.
So, but outside my family, Golden. I think that was the first friend I remember.
I'm presuming that was their name?
Golden was her name, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she was a golden ray of sunshine. That's what her parents, that was the reason they named her Golden, I guess, was because she was their golden ray of sunshine.
I have so many questions that are not appropriate for this channel.
Yeah, we won't be asking those questions. We'll just jump to the next question. What was the first really big time injury you incurred?
Broken arm. We just talked about that.
Yeah, broken arm for me too.
Yeah.
I was swinging on a clothesline pole, and my mom told me to get down, and I got down, but I broke my arm in the process because I was swinging and I swung right off it.
You swing and a miss. Nope.
No, I didn't miss the ground though.
You did not miss the ground, that's for sure.
No. All right. What was the first book you remember reading?
I couldn't tell you the name of the title, but it was a Tom Clancy book. I mean, outside of actual school books, that would have been the first book that I remember reading.
Mine was the Bible. Born and raised Southern Baptist. I read the Bible
right off the rip.
Yep. All right. What was the first huge thing you accomplished in life, or at least the first thing you thought was huge?
I made it to middle age.
Okay. I know for a fact that one's not true.
Yeah, I made it. I'm middle-aged.
All right. Well, what was the first thing that big thing that you remember accomplishing?
That I actually considered as an accomplishment. Accomplishment being something that you strive to do. That would have been purchasing my first house.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course, I ended up losing it, but that's not the point. I bought it.
Hey, you know
what? I set out to buy one, and I bought one.
There you go.
I had tried several times. I tried right out of high school. Of course, there wasn't nobody going to sell me give me a mortgage loan for a 19-year-old that had zero credit. But so we tried a few times, and then we rented a few places, and I finally bought my first house.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty good accomplishment, I think.
First big accomplishment for me was getting on the honor roll in high school.
Yeah.
That was tough for me because with the learning disability,
as smart as you are, you have a learning disability.
I did. I tested out of it. But it was always my goal to get on the honor roll, and finally senior year, I graduated on the honor roll. I felt like that was a huge thing for me. Like,
that is a huge accomplishment.
Because I have to study like 10 times longer than most people have to study. So, it was a lot. There was a lot of days where I would be studying for 4 or 5 hours a night. And
yeah. I was doing homework 4 or 5 hours a night, but that's because I couldn't focus long enough to accomplish what I needed. Be like, 3 + 5 × 2, squirrel.
Mm-hmm. That equals a squirrel coming down the road. Yeah. But those are the 10 questions for the quiz. So,
all right.
Well, that was number 10. That was the end of the questionnaire.
The questionnaire.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed that and learning a little bit about us.
Longer than that.
Nope. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully you enjoyed learning a little about our crazy lives that we have lived to this point.
Yep. And do you want to just in case they don't remember, do you want to give the name of the title of that book one more time? So if they want to check it out, they can?
Yes, they can. I'm sure it's on any major ordering facility named Amazon or, Barnes and
Audible,
Nobles or Audible or
local
Apple,
library.
Apple purchase apps, all those fun things. But the name of the book is 101 Quizzes for Couples
Right.
by Natasha Burton.
All right. Yeah. Shout out to that. It seems like it's going to be fun. I don't know if we'll do it every time. We had also mentioned that we are diving into some personal reading. She had mentioned the books Cavitating, right?
Captivating.
Captivate. I forgot to pee. Captivating. And what's the other one? Wild at Heart.
Wild at Heart.
That's that one's my homework. And we have workbooks coming with that, and I think we're gonna in our personal time we're gonna read it, and we may even do the questionnaires on here so you guys can kind of go along and see what you guys think. And
we'll definitely provide updates as we feel is needed. But yeah, we hope you guys enjoy the quizzes, and feel free, to, if this is something we actually replaced this with some of like the 777 rule that we talked about our first podcast of like just sitting down and like doing these quizzes together and having that camaraderie and that conversation and,
connection.
To be honest, each time I've asked him those questions, it's been a different answer. So it's kind of funny because it has to. Okay, the only one that stayed is Beth. That was the only one that has stayed the same.
That's not true. The first memory one changed because I didn't answer it the first time. The rest were pretty much almost the same.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
No, they weren't. Because the first time you said your big, huge thing was you had your kid. That was your first thing.
No, I also said the house because I had the house first.
So.
Oh, you know what? No, I was wrong. I had the kid first.
Oh, I got a man to admit he was wrong, ladies.
Damn. But technically, I didn't set out
So now I get that
kid.
shirt right. That says I'm always right.
Yeah, and I'm always wrong. So when I tell you that you're right, does that make me wrong?
No. Don't be twisting them words over there. I know what you want for me, Lock. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But see, that's why I did the clarification is an accomplishment is something that I set out to do. I didn't actually set out to have a kid. Yes, it is
we love you, Kate.
Yeah, it is a very large accomplishment that I made it through that alive and with all my hair. But
no matter how gray it is now.
Yeah. But I didn't actually set out to do that, so that's why I made the clarification, because the house was something I actually set out to do. You look at me like you don't care.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Right, I do care, but I think it's funny because you change your answers each time I ask you those questions. I think it's funny.
Well, because I've had a long time to think about the answers.
Yeah. No, I just make it. It's a difference between men and women. We remember things differently, and each time it's authentic. So the answers are authentic, which is really cool. But anyway, so yeah, we'll most definitely we'll probably be doing a couple more of these quizzes because they are quite fun.
Oh yeah, they get some juicy ones in there. We flipped through the book a little bit, and so
they've got
got some good ones in there.
They've got especially because they got different kinds. They have like interview questions, which is the one like we just did. This or that, would you rather, a checklist, multiple choice, or who does it better? So I'm thinking next time we can do maybe a who does it better and see what happens. But anyway, we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to our shenanigans and nonsense. And we hope that this brought a little bit of light to your day. And if you guys have any comments, questions, anything like that, please feel free to message us either on Facebook, email us at happyhouseholdpodcast@gmail.com. Drop us a like on Spotify. Give us those stars.
Yep. Like, follow, comment on Facebook.
Share.
Yep. And share. Yeah. That's how that works. And we much appreciate it for sure.
Yep. We would love to hear stories if you guys do decide to get these books or any books that you've read that you have found helpful. We would love to hear the feedback on that. Right. We'd love to hear some funny things, something, and we may read them on our podcast too. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Until next time, everybody.
We will see you then. Bye.
Bye.